The NFL Week 17 Saturday and Sunday morning games preview and picks edition on the NFL Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting research platform for parlays, props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by the SGPN's Ultimate New Year's Eve Party. Hop on Sports Gambling Podcast YouTube channel for a truly DGen afternoon, complete with drafts, pick'ems, prizes, live sweats, and much more. The fun starts at 12:30 Pacific time on New Year's Eve.
I'm just about that action, boss.
You have to be kidding me. That is impossible.
I'm raising the ante. Anybody wants any deal?
Jordan Davis, dog. Jalen Hurts, dog. AJ Brown, dog. How many people want to eat a W tonight?
And welcome everybody to the NFL Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Thursday, new day in the week, new day to do this show. JMark for the preview and pick show. If you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac. He is JMark Football, aka Old Fashioned Football. JMark, we got quite a slate here. We got the Saturday game between the Dallas Cowgirls and the Detroit Lions. But we also got a loaded Sunday early window because, you know, everybody's got to get loose on New Year's Eve. Nobody wants to watch those filthy Packers and Vikings. I know you'll be dialed into that, though. How are you, man?
Doing good. Yeah, this is a loaded slate, and pretty much every single game has some sort of playoff implications for at least one of the teams, whether that be seeding or trying to make their push into the playoffs. It's going to be really interesting to see how the last 2 weeks play out. It's always like this, where it just gets a little chaotic. You never know what's going to happen. So you said it before the show, some of these games, I think both of us could be swayed either way, but we got to pick one for the people, right?
No doubt. Well, there you go again, trying to trick Riverboat Ron into thinking he's mathematically alive in the playoff race. This is the 1-year anniversary of them dropping the game to the Browns. I think their record since then is like 4-16. The famous press conference of he starts Carson Wentz over Taylor Heineke. They ask him, hey, if you're eliminated next week, will you start Sam Howell? Ironically, now fast forward where Sam Howell's at. And Ron looks with the blank stare and answers the question, we can be eliminated? Like, had no idea what the fucking scenarios were. And that was the start of the decline of where the Washington Redskins football team, whatever the hell you want to call them, not the C word, are currently. And yeah, Riverboat Ron's got 2 games left. We got both our teams here, man. Big one for the Bears. Bears still mathematically in the playoff race. To pull back the curtain, everybody, J-Mark and I were firing up the playoff machine before this. So talking out scenarios. Hey, if this team wins this one, what does this mean for scenarios in Week 18? We did that on the Week 18 look ahead. Go check out that one as well, because I think we're going to beat the numbers on multiples of these games in Week 18. But any games in particular? I'll ask you this: any games outside of our 12 games that we're going to preview? So the other 4 games, the Thursday night game tonight that kicks off in a couple hours, and then the couple late games in the window. Any games catch your eye in those late windows or tonight?
I mean, a couple of them. The Pittsburgh-Seattle really intrigues me. Both those teams trying to make a push for the playoffs. I think Steelers could steal that game from them, pun intended. And I don't know. It's just that's going to be an interesting one. And then Minnesota announces that they are starting Jaron Hall. Interested to see what he can do with the Vikings there. Vikings a favorite for some reason, even with him starting. And that makes zero sense to me. I know it's in Minnesota. I know the Packers, in my mind, suck. They're missing their best defender, their best cornerback anyways. But I don't get why the Packers are the dog there.
Did you set the line? Is that what's going on there out in the Twin City? I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be a good nightcap. We'll see what it means for the playoff scenario. Both teams enter at 7-8. both teams still mathematically alive, as well as the Chicago Bears. But I mean, that's kind of the theme of this week, and we'll touch on it with each and every one of these games. Real quick, this is a Thursday show, so we have more injury-related news. Do you have a lean tonight before we dive into Saturday and Sunday's games?
I mean, I think it's going to be low scoring either way, but I think the Browns pull it out. I think they're the better team overall. Keep an eye on Amari Cooper. They don't know if he's going to play yet or not with that heel injury, and that's going to be big, I think, for the Browns. He's been pretty critical to their success the past couple weeks here, so I would definitely keep an eye on that. But I say Browns win it. How about you?
Yeah, I think the Browns will get it done. I think the Jets are going to cover, though. I picked the Jets. I already bet the Jets at plus 7.5 for giving me the hook. I think that game's going to be a war, 13-9 or some ugly shit that I mean, I worry about with the Browns is too that all the pressure's on them. They all they got to do is win and they're in the playoffs. And that's kind of when the Browns have let everybody down over the years. It's Flacco revenge game. Everybody's talking it up. So I don't know. I think the Browns will get out of there alive, but I definitely think it's going to be a ball game. It's the NFL, man. This time of year, it's ugly.
Yeah, not to mention before the show, we talked about the fact that Browns could still get the number 1 seed somehow. If Ravens and Dolphins both lose and the Browns win both games, then all of a sudden in the next 2 weeks, I know Ravens and Dolphins can't both lose this week because they play each other. But in the next 2 weeks, if they lose, Browns win too, Browns could technically have the number 1 seed, which is crazy.
It's crazy that we're here. But yeah, that's where we're at. That kind of sums it up. It's also crazy that the Detroit Lions are 11-4 with 2 games remaining. They've already clinched the NFC North. Dan Campbell emotional, Jared Goff emotional. They're headed to Dallas. Dallas headed off back-to-back losses. This screams smash spot for Dallas. They've been really good at home. And I feel like I've made good money on the Cowboys when they're a favorite at home, but I kind of think Detroit's going to hang in here, man. I kind of think this game comes right down the wire. Probably a Dallas win, just because I think they are better and they're at home. Obviously, they're laying 5.5. But give me the Lions here. This is the highest total of the season, by the way. I know we don't really do totals. It's over under 53.5. Give me the Lions to keep this thing close. I'll take the points here with the Detroit Lions in Big D. Cowboys win, Lions cover.
Yeah, this is interesting because both teams, I think, have had a little bit of fool's gold throughout the season and then had struggled at times and not looked like a good team. But I agree with you. I think this is a 3-point game either way. Whether the Lions win it, the Cowboys win it, I think it's within 3. So you got to take the dog at 5.5 points. The Lions really, I mean, they don't have a lot to play for, but I still think it's important to them. I still think Dan Campbell is pumping those guys up and everything. And then the Cowboys getting embarrassed by the Dolphins. I know it was a close game, but it's a game they should have won, and they're probably kicking themselves for not winning it. So, yeah, I think both teams gritted out, and I agree with you. It's going to be close. For me, it's a 3-point game either way. So I'm riding with the Lions.
Yeah, you make good points. Cowboys off to back-to-back road losses in Buffalo, in Miami. We both agree the game they should have won. Tyron Smith is questionable as of right now. I would say probably even. Both teams a little banged up. Obviously, no weather because the game is in a dome. But, I mean, for the Lions, the motivation like you talked about, they're tied with San Fran for the 1 seed right now. So,
True.
I mean, they have something to play for. Obviously, their big thing, well, they wanted to win the NFC North because they hadn't done so ever. Last time they won it was the Central in the good old days. But, I think and we like the Lions as a dog, don't we? I feel like the Lions made their name as a dog
For sure.
over this last year. And finally they flipped to a favor and they keep covering. But back in the dog role, nothing to lose. I like it. So we're both on the Lions to start.
Start not agreeing. That's scary.
I know. That means Dallas is going to smack their ass. All right, let's go to the next one. And, oh, no, what am I supposed to do here? I take the Patriots every week. I take the Bills every week. Now I'm done. I don't know what to do. Last time I had this game, I took New England on the money line with Adam Pelletier on the show. Old Bill Belichick got it done for me that day. I think that was like their last big win before running off 2 out of 3 recently. Bills are laying 13. What do we say about the Bills, though? When they win, they do beat the shit out of these teams. Except last week, they randomly won a random close game. I'm going to take the trend where divisional dogs of double digits are hitting at like a 60% rate. It's December. Belichick, he hates Buffalo. He's going to keep it close. I think he's going to muck the game up. I love the way the Patriots defense is playing. It's a top 10 unit. They finally got a little bit of offense, and now they're starting to win these games. I mean, call me crazy, and I was looking at it, making my case for my Patriots here. The Patriots are 4-11. If they had just had a little bit of offense in the stretch where they lost to Washington 20-17, the Colts 10-6, the Giants 10-7, and the Chargers 6-0, they would be 8-7 and control their own destiny to make the playoffs. I know that's a lot of ifs, but it kind of speaks to how good this Patriots defense has played since about week 4. I'm going to take the Pats. I think Buffalo wins the game. I think they're the better team. They were sleepwalking. And also, let me ask you this, JMark. I'll let you get to your handicap. If the Bills do get up double digits, don't you think they kind of put it in cruise control with Miami on deck? They kind of go through the motions. Hey, let's save our legs a little bit for the win the division game in Miami the next week. I don't know. That's kind of my handicap. Give me Belichick for about the 15th straight week. My guy.
Well, first of all, Adam Pelletier has not forgiven you since taking the Patriots to beat the Bills, and then they did. Second, I completely agree that this is like, which way do you go with this? And likely, I feel like this is going to end with the Bills winning by 13, and we're going to push it either way. I mean, it just feels like it's going to be like that. Chris with a K says, and by the way, Twitter comments coming through, or sorry, X comments coming through now. Thanks for stepping up the game, StreamYard. But who the fuck are the Bills to be laying double digits? I mean, they have looked impressive lately, but this Patriots defense matches up really well against Josh Allen. They are able to put the pressure on him to force him into mistakes and to force him into that panic play that he tends to have. And that's when Josh Allen doesn't look like the Josh Allen that can lead the Bills to the Super Bowl. So I do think that this is a close matchup. I think it stays within 10 points. I still think the Bills win it, and yeah, if they do get out early, why risk? They should pull the starters. Why risk getting people hurt with Miami on deck, with already kind of being in the playoffs? I mean, I know they have to win, but if they're cruising to a win, and then the Patriots maybe get some garbage time stuff. So I think this stays within 10 either way. A 13 is too much for me, so I'm going to go with you. You know, I'm not a big Patriots supporter this year, but I can see it this year. Also, shout out to Nick. He's trolling you a little bit. Commanders are trash like West Virginia.
How about those North Carolina Tar Heels yesterday? Nick took that beat down. Stay tuned. I will not be on your Niners. I can tell you that. JMark, what did I say a couple weeks ago? Belichick lost a lot of money for us here early in the year, or at least myself, not you. You've been good at fading him. He's getting all that money back in the second half. He's covering this number. Bills win 27-17. Do we have weather in this game? I looked earlier in the week. I actually didn't think it was going to be that freaking win game, which I was disappointed in. Weather, NFL Week 17, pulling that up right now. I think it's going to be like 30s, which is actually a spring freaking chicken day for Buffalo in late December.
No kidding.
Looking it up, 28. So we'll get some rain though. We're gonna get some cold rain. So Belichick slows it up. Zeke Elliott and his fat gut, they're gonna keep it within the number. Let's go.
Zeke has played better than I expected him to in his little comeback tour here.
How about when he jumped over the guy the other night? I was like, where the hell did that come from?
Right.
Oh, I love the Patriots. I can't. I hated them when they were so good. Now I love them when they suck. I'm like, welcome to the company of misery. You guys suck.
That's
Come
right.
over here. I'll bet on you. Hey, you know what? I faded them. I took them on the Bills money line, and then the next week I said the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl, and everybody said, "You're drunk, Ryan." I said, "Well, you may be right, but Buffalo's going to win the Super Bowl. I'm sticking to it, and the Patriots are going to stay within the number. Contradicting myself left and right. So we'll see if I can hit both sides. I'll tell you who doesn't contradict themselves, JMark. That's Prize Picks. Get over there to Prize Picks with that code SGPN. JMark, Thursday Night Football's here. I know you kind of teased out a play. Did you finalize your official play for the Cleveland Browns and New York Football Jets?
Actually, I got a different one for you because I like to open it up to more options. I just released a silly video on the X, YouTube, Insta, all that stuff from Old Fashioned's account with Snapchat filters on myself, making a fool of myself. But they're running this Demons and Goblins thing where they kind of juice the fantasy projections. And I thought, why not do all touchdowns? This is like an anytime touchdown parlay, but instead it's a fantasy football projection entry. I got Jerome Ford, Deebo Samuel, Justin Fields, Christian McCaffrey, and Kyron Williams, all more than half a rush or receiving touchdown. I think that thing hits.
I think it hits too. I'm with you, JMark. Get over there, get down on it, and make sure you follow at JMark Football. He's giving out Prize Picks plays left and right. So make sure you subscribe, or not subscribe. Make sure you follow his channel. Subscribe to the Old Fashioned Football. That's where you should be subscribed to.
There you go.
But if you got players and stats, you can highlight your winnings with Prize Picks too, and build off of what you have, just like JMark. And get over there, prizepicks.com/SGPN, code SGPN for your first deposit match up to $100. Prizepicks.com/code SGPN. Prize Picks daily fantasy sports made easy. All right, we're back. Moving along in the slate. Oh, you got the Bears already on deck. Here we go. I will lean to you on the weather here in the Windy City. The Atlanta Falcons, the Chicago Bears, both mathematically still in the playoff race. The Bears are as hot as anybody. We kind of have talked about it. We both forecasted it, man, and it's really a shame that they dropped that Browns game because we gave out that midseason future of the Bears making the playoffs. And if they had just won that game, they would be right there. Now, on the other side of things, the Falcons get Heineke, and all of a sudden the offense starts moving. They don't have Ritter, who's terrible, throwing interceptions and blowing the Panthers game and blowing the season. Bears are laying 3 here, man. I can't lay a number with the Bears back-to-back weeks. I'm going to take the Falcons. I could see the Bears winning by 1 or 2. How many games with the Falcons land on 1 or 2? I think this game comes right down to the wire, kind of like that Minnesota Monday Night Football game, 12-10. I think a little more scoring. I could see Heineke pulling one out of his ass. I mean, that's what the Falcons do, or that's what Heineke does. It would be such a Falcons move to win this game and then miss the playoffs by 1 game because they dropped those games for playing Desmond Ritter. I think this is a low-scoring, physical game. Both defenses playing well. Give me get that out of here, Nick Fortune. No, there's no Matt Ryan. Give me my guy Heineke to keep it close. This game comes down the wire, so I will take the points with the Falcons. What say you?
How dare you? Bears by 24. No, you're right. The Bears are heating up. The defense has played really well. The offense has done fairly well. A lot of this is riding on if DJ Moore and Cole Kmet play for me. I do think DJ Moore is going to be shadowed by Terrell, I believe, is the Falcons defender there, who's really good. So that's going to cause a little bit of issues, but I think this is a run it down their throat type of game. Fields needs to get out there running. They need to have Khalil and Roshan running the ball. I don't know if Deontay Foreman's going to be back. And Taylor Heineke, he got his 1-game bump. He came in, had his 1-game bump against the Colts, looked great. Now it's time for him to fall flat. I'm going with the Bears here. I think they are.
Watch your mouth.
I know the Falcons are still technically in the playoff race, but I think the Bears are motivated to prove. I honestly think they want to stick with Fields, despite all the chatter. I mean, if they don't stick with Fields, this ownership and this coaching for sure is going to be questioned, because if they don't get it right the next time, they're done. So I think they stick with Fields. This is their guy. Let's continue to build around him. He's taken steps forward every year. And I think the Bears win by quite a bit. I know I said 24. That's probably exaggeration, but I could see them winning this game by 10 to 17 points. They're definitely covering the 3. maybe that's just my fanatic coming out, but let's go Bears. They're covering this for sure.
Bears win 1917. 1917 Bears win.
I'm going to go 33-16.
Ooh, man,
Score.
you got a smash spot. Does it worry you that the Packers are on deck? I feel like you guys have the Packers really circled after opening day. I feel like this is the one you're going to get the Packers. I feel like you guys are gearing up for that game.
It does, because even though we have barely any chance of making the playoffs, if we could keep the Packers from making the playoffs, I mean, that's still a win in the Chicago Bear book. But I think they're focused. I think Justin Fields wants to prove every game that he's the guy. I mean, he got a little snippy with reporters last week saying, he said to one of them, the day you ask me a positive question, I'm going to be a happy guy. I mean, he's getting a little feisty, so let's go.
All right. So we're opposite sides there. Finally disagree. Let's see if we disagree or agree here. Talk about a feisty team. That's Antonio Pierce's freaking Raiders defense. Real quick, I'm just thinking about this, like headed into this game. I wanted to be almost on the Colts, but it's hard to fade this Raider magic right now. And usually this is like all right, they're going to come back down to earth. They just got their Super Bowl win over Pat Mahomes, but they did it without Josh Jacobs. He's back in practice. It is a short week. They are going back-to-back road spots, but I think it's been a top 10 defense since Antonio Pierce took over, just like with the Bears with Montez Sweat. Been a completely different unit. The other thing, I think they're playing for Antonio Pierce to get the job. And this game kind of reminds me of 2 years ago when the Colts had a one-game lead or whatever, headed into the final 2 weeks, and they laid an egg against the Raiders at home, and they were trying to get Pasaccio the job there, and they elected not to do it. I think the Raiders are going to ride that momentum and find a way to beat the fraud Colts. I think the Colts, man, they've overchiefed so much with Gardner Minshew. He's played the whole entire year. They finally, it feels like they got some more kinks in their armor. They beat up on the bad teams. I know the Raiders aren't the best team in the world, but I think the Raiders defense is the best unit on the field. And the Colts are banged up too. Pittman, I don't know if he's going to be able to go. It kind of sounds like he's going to be questionable. I think probably he's going to miss another game here with that ugly concussion. I'm going to take the Raiders in the points, and I think you sprinkle some on the money line. I think the Raiders are going to win the game.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this one, and the only thing that's jumping out at me is this shouldn't be 3.5. It should be 3. And I feel like they're just baiting you to take the Raiders, right? That's my one concern. They're baiting you to take the Raiders at that 3.5 because this should be a 2.5, 3-point game. I mean, the Colts have not been impressive recently, and the Raiders have been very impressive. How do you beat the Chiefs the way they did? I know they had no offense, but still, you smother Patrick Mahomes, and now you're 3.5-point dogs to Gardner Minshew. This doesn't make any sense to me, and because of that, I rarely play off of that. I usually just go with my gut. But because of that, I've been riding these Colts all year long. I'm going to continue to ride them. I really like what the Raiders have done, but I think the Colts are going to have a little meeting with each other being like, we could still make the playoffs, but we need these games. And this is a game they need. Yeah. This should be an easy win for them. Should be a 3-point spread too, not a 3.5. So I'm going to ride with the Colts.
I thought about that angle, but I feel like this time of year, I feel like you can get some magic going. Maybe if this was middle of the year, I would have been all over the Colts. I'm with you. I'm like, oh, Colts all day. But late in the year, that little Christmas season magic, it makes no sense. This Raiders team makes no sense. But I don't know, man. They've been feisty. And remember the last time we tried to fade the Raiders off the big win? They went down to Miami, and we were like, oh, they're going to get drilled by Miami. And they hung in there the entire game and almost won the game outright. So this Raiders team has been feisty for some reason.
Yeah, I think like you said it best. I think they're playing for Pierce's job. I think they like him and they want him to have the job. So But yeah, I got to ride with Shane Steichen and those Colts. Let's go.
They have been your boys. They have been your
Yeah.
boys. It seems like the sharp side, as they say. I might
Yeah.
be on the public dog here, which I usually try to avoid, but I can't get enough. Let's go Raiders. I was on you against the Chiefs one more time, and I hate the Colts. They're frauds. They're not that good. Yeah, they're gonna fuck Minshew up and turn him over. All right, man. Let's get over. Actually, real quick before we get over to the next game. We are brought to you by over at the NFL Gambling Podcast Hall of Fame Bets. Because you can win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting research platform for parlays, props, game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, soccer bets with historical data. Enter any parlay into the Hall of Fame Bets revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get each and every leg broken down so you know which ones have value over others. Stop betting in the dark and research with Hall of Fame Bets. Over 30,000 users into a more intelligent, data-driven parlay. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. All right, we're back on the NFL Gambling Podcast. What you got?
We've disagreed 2 in a row, so I think I need to pour a little bit more drink. I normally don't have this in my office. Maybe that's not a good thing, but it's okay.
Oh yeah, it's always okay to get some old whiskey in here. So I think we may disagree on this next one. I'm looking forward to seeing what you got here. The LA Rams are going to the East Coast. Rams are as hot as anybody in the country right now, or in the league. This isn't college football. The Rams are laying 5.5. I've seen it go up to 6. I've seen it 4.5, kind of been back and forth. The Giants look good on Monday, I thought they were feisty. Tyrod Taylor announced back as the starter. Tommy DeVito, magic is finally done. This is the classic sandwich spot for me with the LA Rams. They've won 4 in a row. They're as hot as anybody, skyrocketing up everybody's NFL power rankings. They got the Niners on deck. Everybody's saying, oh, this got to watch out for this team in the NFC playoffs. They could upset the 2, the 3 seed, the Lions, Eagles, whoever they get matched up with. They got the Niners, like I said. I love the Giants here. I think the Giants might win the game outright. I love Tyrod Taylor. And I think the Giants play for Dayball. They don't quit on seasons like the Redskins with Riverboat.
Yeah.
They continue to fight. Shit, they almost won that damn game outright in Philly. All over the Giants as a home dog here. I think the Rams might win the game, but I think they're going to get everything they can handle. I think this is a 3-point game either way, just like when the Packers went to the Meadowlands a couple weeks ago when everybody was crowning their ass. So give me the Giants as a home dog here. Let's go.
By the way, real quick, shout out to Nick Fortune supporting the Sports Gambling Podcast and the NFL Gambling Podcast. He's using Hall of Fame Bets and said 2 of 3 NBA parlays cash last night because of it.
Bang.
So there you go, people. Go sign up. This number came down. It was 6 for the Rams. I don't know if that is just a little tiny movement or
This
if
game
the
reeks.
public, the public is backing the Giants that hard. I haven't looked at the numbers, but
They're not. I can tell you they are not on the Giants. Nobody's on the Giants.
I'm a big fan of Tyrod Taylor. I think he has ran that offense the best out of any of the quarterbacks that they've had in there, and that includes Danny Dimes before his injury. I just don't know, though. This Rams team, if I'm the Rams, I look at this game and I say, we need to win this one because we might not beat the 49ers. We can't afford to drop 2 of them. We need to win this one. We need to pour it on. The Giants defense, they've been all right. Okay, their linebacker, Okiri, I think I said it right, Okiri, and he's been impressive. Every time I watch him, he's an impressive linebacker. He's feisty. He's tough. That Giants whole defense has been a little feisty. Tyrod Taylor is a dog. I think he plays well as a dog. I got to go with the Rams here. My gut is telling me take the Rams. I don't know why. I've been on the Rams. I've been on their surge, and I just think they have more talent all around. I think that they're going to be able to take advantage in the passing and the run game. And at 6, I was kind of thinking the Giants. At 5.5, I'm on the Rams. So apparently my brain thinks this is going to be a 6-point game. So I'm going to say the Rams win by 6.
Am I fucked up for like this being like my favorite game on the board? I love the Giants. I love the Giants and Jets this week as
Doesn't
my
that make you
nasty
feel
play.
disgusting though? You
Yes,
hate the
which
Giants.
I know it, but every time I bet the Giants, they come through. I mean, every time against Riverboat, that was easy. Came through for me against the Eagles. Came through. They've been good as a dog.
Yeah,
The Bills in that
true.
game. Other than the Cowboys, they get fucked up by the Cowboys. But other than that,
Yeah.
man, they've been good as a dog this year. So, all right, we're disagreeing again. How about this next game?
I'm interested to see what you say about it.
Cardinals going to Philly, back-to-back road spot. Kyler sucks, man. In these cold conditions. Eagles have looked like doo-doo, though. I mean,
Yeah.
they have sucked. I feel like this is a number that the Eagles should have been laying last year. I can't lay double digits with this Philadelphia Eagles team. Everybody said last week was a smash spot. Coming off 3 straight losses, I'm going to take the Cardinals, man. Give me the Eagles to win by 7. Get all the referee calls down the stretch to bail them out once again. I can't lay double digits with this fraud Eagles team. I think they're way overrated.
Yeah,
I feel like a broken record, but I just not happening with me, man.
Yeah, and this number's been all over the place, so I would definitely say kind of shop around because I've seen it at 10, I've seen it at 12.5. So depending what side you like, shop it around. At 12.5, you got to jump on the Cardinals because I think at 10.5, you got to jump on them. The Eagles aren't winning by more than 10 points. I don't think you can trust them to do so. Their defense, it just gets taken advantage of left and right. And I think Kyler's going to be able to run on them. I think James Conner's going to be able to run the ball on them. Trey McBride's going to take advantage in the middle there because they've not been great covering that seam. So, yeah, I think they stay competitive. Do I think the Cardinals beat them? Probably not. But I do think this stays within that double digit range. So, yeah, I like the Cardinals to cover here. We agreed again, finally.
I completely whiffed on this too. This is Gannon. This is Gannon going back. Remember everybody shit talked him after the Super Bowl? What's the money line? Plus 455. I'm going to be tempted to take this as my dog. I could see the Eagles shitting this opportunity away. They think they got the Division 1. They're feeling themselves still. The Philly fans don't live in reality. This team is not that good. This team is not going anywhere in the playoffs. I think the Cardinals could beat them. I think Gannon has the playbook on Jalen Hurts. He's a turnover machine left and right. Jalen Prescott is what I like to call him now, all you Eagles fans. I know that digs right into you. I think the Cardinals are a live dog in a fuck you game for Coach Gannon there with Kyler. Now, I do need Kyler not to freaking play like a pussy here. Like, I know it's outside. I know it's cold. I know you want to be inside playing Call of Duty. That is the only thing that concerns me. But the Eagles have just been asleep at the wheel. Who have they blown out this year? I think that this kind of like the Chiefs, like everybody's just like assuming they're going to turn it on. Guys, it's week 17. You don't just turn it on in week 17. Yeah. So, I think the Cardinals are live here. Let's go Cards. I can't believe I'm back in the Cardinals again.
With the Eagles not winning the Super Bowl, some of my favorite tickets that I'm sitting on right now, aside from Ravens winning the Super Bowl, is the combinations of Ravens or Bills against Niners or Cowboys. That's some of my favorite combinations of tickets I'm sitting on because there's no way I think the Eagles make it.
How great would it be if the Cardinals did win this game? Oh, I'd love it. All right, let's do it. Nick Fortune in the chat. They are a good teaser. Like, I do agree. You could tease them up to 16.5. Yeah, let's go. Come on, Gannon. Gannon's going to get up for this game.
He said the Raiders too. I might just have to steal his tease suggestions here because I like that one too.
Not bad.
I think Colts win, but not by a ton.
Yeah, agreed there. This also noting, not that the Giants are a juggernaut, but this is a sandwich spot for the Eagles with Giants on the front end, Giants on the back end to finish the year. So, I mean, those two teams don't like each other. A little bit of a letdown look ahead. Don't let the Eagles fans tell you they don't circle the Giants game. Those two franchises fucking hate each other. So there is NFC East. It don't matter the record. So give me the Cardinals. All right, here's going to be my grossest play of the week. The New Orleans Saints are headed into Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the hottest team in football, other than the Rams. I mean, they cracked our top 10. Baker, comeback player of the year, talking contract extensions. We're talking contract extensions now. Oh boy, this is prime time fade spot to fade the Bucs. Everybody's going to be on the Bucs here. Give me the Saints outright. And look at the NFC South this year with the Falcons, the Bucs, and Saints. The road team has won in every single game. What doesn't make sense always happens in this division. The Bucs win in Atlanta. The Bucs win in New Orleans by 17. The Falcons win in Tampa Bay earlier in the year. Now New Orleans is going to win. Tampa Bay can still win the division, all they got to do is beat Carolina and they win the division. Give me I'm all over New Orleans here. Bucs are not just gonna walk into a division title. This is the NFC South we're talking about. This has to go down to week 18. They're not clinching on Sunday. Give me the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr gets injured. Jameis Winston comes in, saves the day, back in Tampa Bay. Let's go, Saints.
I mean, I agree with everything you're saying, which means I should take the Saints, but I can't. I can't do it. I'm gonna lay with
baiting
the
you.
I know. I'm gonna go with the Bucs to win by 3 here. I think Baker has his team believing. And yeah, it's a lot of talk, and it could be overhyping him, especially with we want him to be the quarterback next year and all this stuff. I completely see where that could be setting him up for failure in this game. Even if they lose, we talked about this before the show. I think it's a 60-some% chance of still making the playoffs. But I got to ride with them. I think the playoff seeding matters to the Bucs. I think they want to focus on that. And I think Baker, he's still, even with all this talk, I think he still has a lot to prove. So I'm going to ride with the Bucs here. I've beginning of the year, I said that Baker could be better than expected. I didn't expect him to be like this, but I thought he could be better than some of the trash we've seen from him. I'm going to continue to ride with him.
Does this line reek more than any game on the board?
It's
not 3. It's not 3, and it's just baiting you to take. It's like, all the Bucs got to do is win by 3. And I think if you go back and look, everybody, every single time the road team has won, the line has been 2.5. This division just reeks Saints all day.
Yeah. Stephen Williams pointing out, got to give credit to Rachaad White. He's ran the ball very well. I've been impressed with him. I didn't think he could be a true every down back and be the guy for a team, and he's definitely proved me wrong.
Yeah. All right. We're on opposite sides. Fuck the Saints, fuck the Bucs, fuck the Falcons. It's all about the Panthers, baby. That's my team. Oh yeah. Speaking of this game is going to be juicy here. You got San Francisco, who got humiliated Monday night. Got all the former Redskins on their team. Trent Williams, Chase Young, all them freaking prima donnas. Everybody's crowning them earlier in the week. Not so fast, my friends. This team. What's the status on Trent Williams is the first thing I went and saw. Limited in the walkthrough. Why would the Niners play Trent Williams here? Is my question for you.
It's a good point. Might as well keep him healthy, right? Same.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Brock Purdy plays, but same with him. He was healthy in that game last week. They said he could return. They didn't put him in because it was over. And what's the point of getting him hurt? This is a hard one to back the Niners on.
This is them. The Skins and Niners hate each other. They've had historical battles. I know their name is now the Commanders, but there always will be. Where's it at? The Redskins, right there. You got RFK. They had classical games. There's a lot of bad blood here. Chase Young didn't leave on the best terms. Trent Williams didn't leave on the best terms. All of a sudden, Ron Rivera's benching Sam Howell for Jacoby Brissett in a meaningless game, playing to win the game like he's in the playoff race. Ron Rivera wants to win this game. And Kyle Shanahan hates the Skids. This could be a pressure spot for him. He has not been that good as a double-digit favorite. As much as I think my Skins suck, they're going to hang in this game. Hold your nose, take the points. Niners get out of there alive by 3 to 7 points. I think this is a game where the Skins may actually lead for a majority of the game and then just throw up on themselves. and the Niners find a way to get it. So might be a good opportunity to bet San Fran live if they fall behind. Niners are banged up. Short week coming back to the East Coast with their tail between their legs. Give me the Skins, man. Jacoby Brissett, bounce game. Get up. Let's go.
Not to mention playing that Ravens team. It's a physical.
Man.
Yeah, it is a physical matchup where they wear you down. Nick Fortune wondering what the weather is going to be like in DC. I don't know if you have that in front of you. But
I do. It's going to be like 45. I think it's going to be I was looking at it's not going to be that. Remember that one year where they played? It was 9-0 when it was just a monsoon. I think that was Shanahan's first year with Jimmy G when they went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's going to be mid 40s. It's going to be a decent day. But that turf's a piece of shit. So somebody will get injured.
Steven agreeing with you that Washington covers the Niners play with their food and take it easy on the way to the playoffs. Yeah, I just can't. I mean, the Niners are still one of the best teams in the NFL, but they are banged up. Washington, I think, is going to be feisty. I think Brian Robinson comes back, which really changes how their offense runs. I mean, Chris Rodriguez and Antonio Gibson, they're not fill-ins for Brian Robinson. So him coming back for the Commanders is a big deal. I think this is an 8-point game. Really weird spread that it ends in an 8-point win by the Niners. So yeah, give me the Commanders to cover.
It's just such a Ron Rivera like Super Bowl spot where he
still thinks they're in the playoffs.
He still thinks they're in it. He started Jacoby Brissett for no reason. He's playing to win this game. He hates the Niners. He hates Chase Young. He hates Trent Williams.
How many sacks does Chase Young get that are not because the ref trips the quarterback?
0. Overrated. You know what Chase Young is good at? Nick Bosa will get the sack, and then Chase Young will jump on the pile and take credit for the sack. No. That was Nick Bosa's sack. You just came in for the half sack. Yeah, get Chase Young out of here. I hope they run every play right at him. They should run at him every play.
Yeah. You know how many people told me, why did they go for Montez Sweat and not Chase Young?
Montez Sweat's a lot fucking better. I could have told you that one. Yeah, there's a reason you only got a 3rd-round pick. He was the 4th best member on the defensive line behind your guy Sweat now and Allen and Payne. So personal game for the Skins. They're going to play their tails off and lose by 7. Keep that draft position, baby. But hey, fight it and cover us for us. All right, man. Let's go to the next one. Carolina's going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's lost 4 in a row. Got completely embarrassed last week in Tampa Bay. My Panthers have, covered 3 out of the last 4. All of a sudden, they're just a freaking juggernaut of a ball club. Even won a game outright 9-7 in the monsoon. I feel like I got to fade the Panthers here. I feel like, you look at kind of the Jaguars. 4 in a row. They've lost to the Bengals, Browns, Ravens, and Buccaneers. So 4 playoff caliber teams. In the games that they don't play the playoff teams, they're kind of a bully. They kind of just beat up on the shit teams, and then they get humbled by the good teams. I feel like I got to buy Jacksonville at the low here. I kind of think they're going to blow Carolina out. Carolina is going to say, hey, all right, that's enough. Bryce Young coming off a career game too, back-to-back home games. They're terrible on the road too. And take it for somebody that's had Carolina a lot this year. They are terrible on the road. I kind of think Jacksonville's going to fuck them up. I'm going to take Jacksonville by double digits here in a rare favorite for me. Give me the Jags.
Gosh, so much of this for me rides on if Trevor Lawrence plays. Because if it's CJ Beathard, I don't know if I trust him to keep a 7-point lead. Yeah. I trust him to win the game, but in a close one. Looks like Lawrence wasn't spotted during the media access portion of the practice. Doug Peterson said that he was in line to be limited, but we've not seen him on the field yet. He has been fighting through injuries, though. Every time you think he's going to miss a game, he doesn't. So we got to consider that. I thought a couple of weeks ago, Beathard was in line to definitely get the start. And then all of a sudden, Lawrence played with that ankle sprain. I've been hating on the Panthers all year. I'm not going to change it now. Give me the Jaguars. I can't help myself. Bryce Young sucks. I know he looked good last week, but I've been fading him all year. Why change now? CJ Beathard, let's say he is the starter. I'll support my Iowa Hawkeye. Never support an Iowa Hawkeye quarterback, but he's the last decent one we've had. So I guess I'll continue to support him. And yeah, I'll ride with you on the Jaguars.
I'm going to make a bold take. I know. Shocker, I have a bold take. If Jacksonville starts Beathard, they're going to cover this game. Enough with they throw Lawrence out there when he's hurt. He's terrible when he's hurt. He's been terrible the last couple of weeks. Get Beathard all the reps, rally behind him, run the football, play good defense. Carolina can't move the ball on the road. I think if Beathard starts, this number comes down a little bit and we hammer Jacksonville. The one-game bump for the backup, bring back Lawrence for the playoffs or Tennessee the next week. I think Beathard can get the job done for us. This still is Carolina, who's terrible, and they've covered 3 out of the last 4. They're probably due for an egg again.
Yeah, I still don't understand why the Jaguars cut Nathan Rourke. I think he should have been their backup Canadian Football League quarterback. He had probably the highlight of the preseason when he snuck out of a sack and did a little sidearm action right in the corner of the end zone where it needed to be. If you've heard me before, I'm a supporter of the Canadian Football League, love that league. But I agree. Even if it is Beathard, he probably does keep it in line enough for them. I mean, he's a guy that he's not going to lose you games. He's not going to win you games. He's not going to lose you games. He's going to be that game manager. They're going to lean on ETN and cover, probably just cover. They win by 7.
I agree. 7 or 8. Let's go. Let's go Jags. All right, game of the early window. Miami at Baltimore. Baltimore laying 3. Baltimore on the short week, coming off the statement win, but also Miami's coming off a statement win. Finally getting a win over a winning record, I think, since Baltimore in week 2 last year. No, sorry, Buffalo in week 3. This is lock potential. If you remember correctly, last year, JMark, week 2, you and I both locked up the Ravens -3 against the Dolphins at home. They were leading by 21 in the fucking fourth quarter, and they completely choked the game away. They're going to be leading by 21 again, and they're going to choke them out here. Smash spot, Ravens. They got all the motivation in the world. Lamar, play well. You win the MVP. Rest of the team, play your asses off. You got 2 weeks off before the divisional round. They're going to come out, laser focus. It's going to be colder, mid-40s. Dolphins offense doesn't run on the same thing outside, same pace outside in the cold weather. I'm all over the Ravens in a smash spot here by double digits.
Yeah, I know this isn't college football, but in college football, they look at quality wins, right?
Yeah.
What quality win do the Dolphins have? I know they beat the Cowboys, but we talked about the Cowboys are the same team as them. They beat bad teams. They lose to good teams. Dolphins are the same. The Ravens are a far better team here. And tomorrow says Ravens blow them out. Not just saying it because they're his team. So I understand. But yeah, the Ravens, if they were able to do what they did to the 49ers, they're going to fuck the Dolphins up because the Dolphins are not the 49ers.
I can't see the Ravens being asleep at the wheel either.
No.
I know they're coming off the big win, but like they have everything right in front of them. 1 seed, 2 weeks off. That's all. Those guys love rest. All they got to do is win this game and they're off for 2 weeks. They're going to come out. They're going to be up 2 touchdowns after 1 is my prediction. Start fast. Sometimes in these scenarios, it's almost an advantage to have short rest. You don't have enough time to overthink the game plan. Lamar's 0-2 against the Dolphins too. He's from Miami. He's sick and tired of hearing about Tua. They're gonna smash them. They're gonna smash them.
Not to mention, do you think the Ravens want to risk playing a playoff game in Miami or Kansas City or maybe even Cleveland? They want those playoff games to all roll through Baltimore.
And everybody loves Mike McDaniel, heckling Dan Marino. Time for them to get humbled a little bit here. A little humble pie. They're not winning another game all year. They're going to get drilled by Baltimore. They're going to get drilled, but maybe not drilled. It's in Miami. Buffalo will beat them, and then they'll lose in the opening round. Final win for the Miami Dolphins over the fraudulent Cowgirls. That's my bold prediction.
I do kind of like Steven's take here. All this makes sense. So Dolphins win.
Maybe. No, not happening. Not happening. Last week made no sense why the Dolphins were going to win that game, and they pulled that one out. They're not pulling two out of the hat back to back. So, all right, man. Let's move along into the next one. Is that lock-worthy for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, back to that Jaguars game. If Lawrence doesn't play, backup quarterback is EJ Perry. I don't know if you remember that guy from Brown, but he was a hell of a quarterback. And I could see Beathard struggling and them throw him in and him like just really lighten it up. He was a hell of a quarterback. I know it's Brown, small school, whatever, but I was a big fan of him when he played in the Senior Bowl.
I was too. I kind of hope they start him.
Yeah.
Dude, sometimes, man, these backups can pop up for one game. I think it's almost better to. Case Keenum just did it with Houston 2 weeks ago in Tennessee, and that's a perfect transition into our next game because it sounds like Stroud's going to be back, laying 5.5 against Vrabel, against the Titans. Titans continue to lose 3 straight home games by 3 points. They just played 2 weeks ago. The Titans were laying 3. It sounds like Levis is back, Stroud's back. Is Stroud worth almost 10 points or 9 points? I think the line was 3.5 at kickoff. I don't think he's worth 9 points. I think this line should be 3, and I think Stroud's going to struggle, to be honest. I know everybody's automatically saying Stroud's back, they're going to roll. They're still banged up everywhere else. Give me the Titans here to spoil the party, and I think they may win the game outright. I think they're going to get revenge from 2 weeks ago. They should have won that game. This is the AFC South, too. Nothing makes sense in this fucking division either. So, Titans still got pride, man. Vrabel's got pride as a dog. You look at the history of this series, too. The road teams won like 6 straight games in this series. I'm on the Titans here. Vrabel is a dog.
If this game was in Tennessee, I'd agree with you. But they've been terrible on the road. And I think C.J. Stroud does have something to prove here. He's probably got Rookie of the Year wrapped up, but he wants to make sure he has it wrapped up. Him and Nico Collins are going to be connecting. Noah Brown has been good down the stretch. I love this Texans team. You know, I've been on Stroud and the Texans early in the year. I agree. This line reflects that he will play because it's continued to move. I mean, just yesterday it was Texans at 3.5, I think, as favorites. Now they're 5.5, indicating he is going to play. And I just think he is of a different breed. I think the Texans really got this right. This is their franchise quarterback. I'm looking forward to watching him play for a decade. And give me the Texans to cover this. I think they win this game. I think the Titans suck on the road. I know Vrabel's got a lot of pride, but this team, it's weird how bad they are on the road compared to at home. They're a completely different team.
They've been bad at home lately, though. That's what's weird about them. Like they were so good at home, and then they stopped winning home games, and that's why they're out of the playoff race.
2-5 against the spread on the road.
Yeah, they've been bad.
1-6 straight up.
They're covering this one. It's Vrabel. This is one last win for old Mike Vrabel, baby. All right, let's go lock, dog, tease. We got a lot to choose from. Like I said, that was a loaded slate. We basically previewed the whole fucking week 16. Lock.
You want to lead it off? Switch it up a little bit?
Yeah, we'll switch it up. I think we just got off that game. And one other thing. These showcase games, the home team has been the way to go too. They've covered time and time again, whether it was Buffalo and Dallas a couple weeks ago, Philly and Dallas, San Francisco and Dallas, Buffalo and Miami earlier in the year. The home team has just completely annihilated the road team. That's going to happen again here. Baltimore and Detroit earlier in the year. That's going to happen again. Baltimore smash spot to secure the number 1 seed. Take that culture all day in a game they got to have to lock up the 1 seed. Get 2 weeks off. Lamar MVP, second time in 5 years against his hometown team, which he hasn't beat yet. This is a spot. Ravens all day. Lock it up. -3.
I would double lock this, but I want to give our listeners a second pick here, so I won't. But I completely support that, agree with it. And this is a guy that I said Lamar is going to be injured half the year. I said he can't play a full season healthy. He proved me wrong. So, man, I so badly want to lock up the Bears, but I'm not going to do it.
Don't jinx it.
I know. I don't want to jinx it. Instead, I am going to lock up the Bucs. I know you think they're going to lose outright,
no.
but give me the Baker magic to continue as they cruise into the playoffs.
Oh, no, you didn't just do it. For my dog, I'll go right to the same game. Give me the New Orleans Saints when it doesn't make sense in the NFC South is what happens. Saints win the game outright. The defense pops up. They own Tampa and Tampa. It's just a play, man. It's what the road team always wins in this funky, fucked up division. Selling Baker at the high point as a favorite. I think he's like 12-25 as a favorite. All over the Saints here to win the game outright with that defense.
I looked, and apparently I'm very chalky. I was only on 2 dogs to cover, and it's the Commanders and the Cardinals.
Oh no, what could go wrong?
Disgusting. Out of those 2, I'm going to go with the Cardinals. The Eagles are frauds, and I liked how you laid out the Gannon revenge there. I know Kyler usually sucks when it's cold, but I think this is more of a James Conner game, and they get enough done to win the game, just barely. I don't like it. I don't know if I definitely bet it, but out of the 2 dogs I took, I trust them more than the Commanders. No offense.
No offense taken. All right, tease. Let's tease. Let's tease the Raiders up to 9.5.
I like that.
Let's tease the Falcons up to 9. That's going to be a ball game, even though JMark's saying they're going to smash their ass.
33-16. You're going to be upset.
Tease the Giants up to 11.5. I almost went Lions, but sometimes they can lay an egg. But I do think they're going to cover. So I'll tease Giants up to 11.5, Raiders up to 9.5, and the Falcons up to 9 because all they do is win or lose close games.
I guess I just realized I was also on the Lions and Patriots. I'm going to change my lock to the Lions. They're my
dog.
Yeah, I'm going to change my dog to the Lions. I feel more comfortable doing that than the goddamn Cardinals. But that lets me take my Cardinals, since I don't like to double dip. I'm going to take those Cardinals up to 16.5. The Eagles aren't going to beat anybody by that much. I'm going to tease the Rams down to, let's see, that'd be 0.5 point dog. So it's basically a pick 'em, Rams to win the game. And then let me tease. I'm going to tease your lock, Ravens to +3. They're not losing that game. I'm crossing that digit of 0 that you're not supposed to cross over, but fuck it. I do it all the time and it pays off.
There we go. All right, let's go money line around robin. We got a lot of options here. I think we got to take your Lions. I like that one. They're not really your Lions. You hate the Lions. But
speaking of another team I hate, what do you think about the Packers?
I think that's a safe one. All right. So, but they're not a dog. They're -105.
Oh, okay. Yep, you're right.
I
Do
think
you like? Go ahead.
Do we throw the Steelers in there again?
That's what I was just about to ask if you liked them.
Yeah, I mean, the Seahawks suck. The Steelers suck. Flip a coin. Who knows who's going to win that game? Let's throw them in there.
Tomlin is the dog. Let's go.
Yeah. We'll throw the Falcons. Just kidding.
I mean, we agreed on Patriots, Cardinals, Commanders.
Do we throw the Cardinals in there as our juicy one?
Sure, why not?
+425. Nobody's going to have that one. So we got the Lions. Where we go? We got the Lions,
Steelers, and Cardinals
+195. We got the Steelers +150 and the Cardinals +425. 37-1.
Ooh, I think that's our juiciest one yet.
Yeah. Well, we did have the 33-1 and week 3, and then fucking the Saints. That's why you don't pick the Saints still, because you're still bitter from that day.
You're damn right I am, and you're backing them. What are you doing to us?
I know when to take them. This is the spot. This is the NFC South. Dude, take the opposite of what makes sense.
Fair enough.
All right, man. So there you go, 37-1. We agreed on a little bit. It's a good diversity for everybody. We basically previewed
Yeah.
the whole slate. We even gave out a little Thursday night and kind of teased Sunday night. The only game I think we didn't talk about was Chiefs. Did the Chiefs bounce back this week?
I say we got Chiefs, Bengals, and Chargers, Denver are the only ones we didn't talk about. I'm all over
Who the
Denver.
hell?
I'm a believer in Jared Stidham. I think he's going to look better than Russ Wilson. He looked decent last year with the Raiders. I was shocked they didn't keep him. It made 0 sense. And then he looked good in the preseason. I know it's preseason. Kansas City, Cincinnati's a tough one. Is Kansas City completely cooked?
I think they can. I think they can cover a 7. That's not
Okay.
like Philly with 10. I kind of think they are. I kind of think it's now or never for Kansas City.
Yeah.
Like they need to play. Like they need to win the division still,
Right.
or they're going to miss the playoffs potentially. So, yeah, I'll take Kansas City in that one.
All right. You swayed me. I think the Browning magic has kind of wore off.
Yeah, and the Chiefs hate the Bengals. They should run it up on them. This should be the one spot where they get up. So, all right, man.
Look at us picking the whole slate.
Yeah, why not? Throw the last 4 in there. That'll do it for another edition of the NFL Gambling Podcast. Kickoff here in 4 hours in Cleveland. I hope you Browns fans get it done so that you can clinch your spot. Always cheering for the Browns. I am Moneyline Mac. He is JMark Football. Go check out the old-fashioned football. Anything else before we get out of here, man?
Got start sits in 1 hour and 48 minutes. Come join us, ask your start sit questions, or just hang out and have some whiskey.
Yeah, can't beat that. Cheers, everybody. Happy holiday season. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas if we hadn't told you already, you filthy animals out there. Go check out the college experience here in a couple hours as well. And, yeah, we'll see you Monday, regular schedule to recap week 17. And we don't have any look ahead lines, but we'll talk some playoff scenarios. Cheers, everybody. Happy New Year. And let it ride.